Before you read, can a shoemaker be called an artist? Yes. If he has the same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist and the same respect for it too, Mr. Gessler, a German shoemaker settled in London, is a perfect artist. Read this story to see how he devotes his life to his art's quality. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boot. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers, and in the window a few pair of boots. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Gessler? And his answer, given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, it is an art. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boot lasted terribly, having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. One went on, one went in, not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, and sitting on the single wooden chair, waited. A guttural sound and the tip tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little bent, in leather apron with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots. And I would say, "How do you do, Mr. Gessler? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots?" Without a word, he would leave me retiring, hence he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the essence of his trade. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, "What a beautiful piece!" When I too had admired it, he would speak again. "When do you want them?" And I would answer, "Oh, as soon as you conveniently can." And he would say, "Tomorrow fortnight," or if he were his elder brother, "I will ask my brother." Then I would murmur, "Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Gessler." "Good morning," he would reply, still looking at the leather in his hand, and as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip-tap of his slippers going up the stairs to his dream of boots. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, "Mr. Gessler, that last pair of boots creaked, you know." He looked at me for a